Hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing? Okay, so we're down here at the Indiana State House today, testifying for some bills, some good bills, and then just kind of rallying the masses around some legislation that we want to all be aware of here in Indiana. So there's a couple bills I posted in the title of this video. First one is SB 74. SB 74 would make it illegal for employers to mandate people get the COVID vaccine and keep needles out of people's bodies if they don't want them in there. So, you can get the COVID vaccine on your own if you want it. That's totally fine, but it should be your choice, your personal freedom to decide whether or not to do that. So that's the first one. So we've got that one. You need to call your representatives because it's a good bill and it should pass, but it's kind of what's happened is there's committee hearings that they have to hear the bills. They got to make sure that, they get out of committee first before they can actually go to the floor of the Senate and vote on this. So that's Senate bill. SB means Senate bill, Senate bill 74. But even the Senate Pro Tem, a lot of different legislators like Senate Bill 74, but for some reason, it's probably what I'm being told is probably going to die in committee. So that means they're not going to give it a vote. They're not going to let the committee members vote on it. So we'll never get out of committee to go to the Senate floor to have a vote on it. And so it's not going to see the light of day. So in order for that to not happen, you've got to call your legislators, your state reps and your state senators and say, hey, get Senate Bill 74 to the floor. I mean, we want to see a vote on it and push them on this because it's a good bill. It protects individual freedoms. I mean, nobody should be forced to have to choose between keeping their job and sticking a needle in your arm and taking a vaccination that, I mean, frankly, we don't even know what's in it. I mean, it's been pushed. This warp speed, thing, as much as I, appreciate President Trump for, trying to tackle this, I don't feel comfortable taking a vaccine in my body that, I mean, you can't be honest with me and tell me that every single vaccination is going to be good for me and my body's going to react well to it. So there's just not enough testing. So I don't want to have to force or choose between my job and taking the vaccine. And I think most rational people would agree with that. So support Senate Bill 74 and tell your legislators to do the same. The other one is there's a couple other ones that are actually the other three that I posted in the title all have to do with education. One of the front lines of the battle in our nation right now is the classroom. There is so much indoctrination, anti-American, socialist, Marxist crap that's being shoved down the throats of our kids. And by the time they reach high school, they're already totally indoctrinated. Our nation is not going to stand a chance if we don't win the battle in the classroom first. You've got these teachers organizations and associations that are just very left-leaning and liberal, pretty anti-American. They bought into the 1619 Project stuff, all this stuff that we don't need to teach that in school. We need to teach the things that matter, like math and science and technology and things that produce good jobs and give these kids an opportunity to actually go out and make a living for themselves. We don't need to indoctrinate them with why America is an evil, racist nation. No, like if you know history, you know that's not the case. So there's a couple bills that are designed to help counter that. They're okay, they're good, but I think we could do more, but it's a place to start. The first one is HB 1005, so 1005. And that's going to expand the voucher program, the school choice voucher program. So it'll give more families, lower income families, the ability to actually have the money to take their kids and go to a school that's actually performing well. The best way to take care of the school situation, in my opinion, is the free market system. Make sure the money travels with the kids. If the money goes with the kids, if you have a crappy school, well, guess what? Your school's not going to do well because all the kids are going to leave because the parents are going to want to send their kids to a crappy school. That's the way it should be. And if that school dies, well, so be it. Let it die because it probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. So HB 1005 will help expand that. So support that. We need to do more. I was talking to Chuck Goodrich, my state rep, and I think one of the things he would like to do is he would like to expand it to anyone who makes under $100,000 a year would be able to have the school choice vouchers and an expansion in that program. So, and that would actually be really good. So support that. The other one is HB 1384. Now, this is kind of an interesting bill. This would create a 15-person commission that would make sure our civics, we passed a civics law last year where it was basically saying we've got to incorporate civics education into the schools. And so, but what's happened is like there's no standards. There's like, okay, that's great, but who sets the standards to that? You could have a progressive teacher that sets their own standard, and it's not doing any good. So this 15-person commission would actually this bill, HB 1384, would set a 15-person commission to go in and set the standards. Now, I say this because I like the concept, but anytime you have commissions, you always have problems. And so it's all about who gets put on the commission. That's my fear is if it's all packed with teacher association people on the 15-person commission, well, it's not going to do anybody any good. It's just going to get worse. So call your state reps and your state senators and have that conversation with them. Say, okay, we like the concept, but we need to know who's going to be on this commission. The other bill is Senate Bill 288. Senate Bill 288 would make sure that all the porn and the graphic images that are in school systems and school libraries right now would be cut out. There is so much. If you dive in with Rhonda Miller, she's the head of Indiana's Purple for Parents groups. She has got a wealth of information on the crap that's being put in front of our kids. As young as second grade, they're being taught like gender is fluid. They're being taught like it's okay to have sex just as long as you have the right kind of sex, and how to have protection and all that kind of stuff at second grade levels. I had a friend of mine who's up in Fort Wayne. He called me and he said his fourth grade daughter was being hit on by an openly trans fourth grader in her school. So you have these kids that have now taken on this sexual identity that they didn't come up with on their own. This was not them. This is not you were born this way. This is somebody told you this. And it goes all the way back. If you want to know where this started, it goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden, where the devil said, did God really say? Did God really say that you were this way? Did God really say that this was the truth? And then guess what happened when Adam and Eve fell, when they rebelled against God, God came walking through the garden and they hid from God. And God said, why did you hide? And they said, because we were naked and we were ashamed. And the Lord's response was perfect. He said, who told you you were naked? Because I didn't tell you that. Who told you that? And that's what's happening right now in our school systems. We're getting these kids who are being told something that is totally counter to what God is saying. God did not tell them they're transgender. God did not tell them they're homosexual. God did not tell them that was their identity. But you have teachers and you have school systems that are pushing that on second graders, on third graders, on fourth graders, and they're buying into it. So this is not a we hate gay people by any means. No, we love them. We want them to understand the true identity that God says they are, because when you walk in your true identity, things go well for you. And I care about people. I want things to go well for them. I want them to be exactly the fullness of who they were created to be. But when you have the devil getting in and telling people something that's counter to what the Lord has said, and you have legislation pushing that lie and that narrative, well, it's not going to go well for our society. So Senate Bill 288 would help counter that. And again, this is all legislation. We have a heart issue in America. So legislation can't fix the heart issue. Only the gospel can. But good God-based and biblical-based legislation can really help mend a lot of the hurts and the pains that we have. And when we start getting away from that, we start seeing a lot of destruction. So that's what I'm down here fighting for here in Indiana. And love you guys. We'll see what happens. So call your legislators, call your reps, and let them know to get behind some of these bills, because they're really important bills. So all right, until next time, peace.